Hey everyone, I am live. Oh my goodness. I was having some technical difficulty. I've been having a lot of technical difficulty today. So, not really sure. Yeah, it's showing Marilyn Aloria, psychic medium, teacher, and coach. And today we're going to be talking about finding, let me type as I do this, finding your soul's purpose. Okay, so there it goes. So nobody's joining us yet, so I got to find out what's going on because we're using a whole new system. So you just never know what's happening. So I'm just going to keep talking here until I could see it on the page and see what's going on. And super excited to talk to you about this and give you some really great tips. There I am. I'm live and people are there. Yay! So tell me who's here. Tell me where you're from. And tell me if you know your soul's purpose. So tell me who's here, where you're from, and tell me your soul's purpose. And if you don't know your soul's purpose, tell me what you think it is. So again, where are you from, your name. I'll see your name, obviously, because it's Facebook. And while you're doing that, I'm going to be pulling something up because I have a little homework for you guys, and we didn't get to do the PDF that I wanted to do, although I may do something about that. So I'm going to do that right now because this is what happens when you go live and I was really busy and I was answering something. Yes, just pulling it up now. All right, let's see who's here. Hi, Laura. Hi, Anna. Thank you, Michelle. She shared it to a group. I'm beginning to think photographer. Laura, I'm going to say it's more than just photographer. So just because I'm getting to know you and membership for your soul. Sharon says, I don't know, but I'm a healer and looking into becoming a doctor. Ooh, look at that. Naturopathic doctor? What kind of doctor? So keep telling me where you're from, and I'm going to type my name again. There's a whole new method to this that we have not been able to put into practice because we've been working on the mastermind groups that we're putting together, which I'm super excited about. So let's see who else is here. Maria, soul's purpose is to serve through helping others to heal through various means. Love that. Love that. Carolee says, hi, Marilyn. Carolee from Saskatchewan, Canada. I can't say that. I believe my soul's path is to be an esthetician. I love all the different things here. My hair is doing something funky. I was so busy before this. I was like, So anyway, we have Terry, Birmingham, Alabama. Tell me what you think your soul's purpose is. Ruth Shawn says, I want to impact the world in some way, helping animals. Love it. She's in San Diego. And let's see who else we have. Michelle says, hiya, Marilyn. My soul's purpose is to help people. It definitely is because I know Michelle. Great. I love this. So we are going to talk about your soul's purpose. Cynthia, you couldn't find me because I was friggin' late. Hi, Viorka, Canada, want to help people. I love this. So many of my lovely membership people. Kalmadevi, my purpose is to break free from the cycle of birth and rebirth, healing others as I heal. I like that one. So what I want to do, Terry says, I'm a healer. So we're going to keep talking about your soul's purpose, but I want to tell you some stories first. And, as you're joining me, you can keep answering the question, what's your soul's purpose? And if you don't know it, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal because I'm going to teach you right now some really great steps on how to anchor into it. Hi, Liat. Hi, Adina. So I love the stuff that you're saying. And what I'm seeing most from all of you, Rochelle says, I love to create art that heals myself and others. Feels like a lot of you are pretty clear. Hi, Marie. So if you're just joining me now, I want to know where you're from because I want to really start learning where my peeps are from. And also I want to know, look at this, like this piece of hair is just driving me nuts. That's life, right? Anyway, and I want to know what you think your soul's purpose is. Anne says she's still searching. Great. So let me tell you some stories first that I really want to tell you. So what I want to tell you is about my personal journey. And I promise you, you will be excited and you will love the story and you will learn from my story. So when I was younger, very little, probably about 5 years old, I'll never forget this person asked me what I wanted to be when I got older. And I said, an actress right away. And she kind of laughed at me. She was like, you can't be an actress. You know those experiences, right? So I didn't, believe her. And I was always like a performer and always kind of doing things. But as life got to me and people and teachers and peers and whatever gets in there and screws up with your friggin' truth, By the time I got to college, I was an accounting major. Like, what? An accounting major? Now, I'm good in math. I can add and subtract math in my head, but I believe I got a D in accounting. Like, I could not friggin' do accounting. And my brother pulled me aside. Thank you to my brother. Pulled me aside and he said, what are you doing? You're not an accountant. Go into television communications. Go study that. And I'm so glad he said it to me. So I found a college that really was very well known in television communication. I went to Marist College and I started studying television communications. And I interned while I was there and got a job at MTV. So I was interning at MTV. I stayed in touch with them and I started working for MTV Network. So I just kind of like came about. That's the way things happen for me. And that's what I'm going to teach you about your soul's purpose. Nothing against accounting, Joanne. By the way, everything that we serve, the person who picks up your garbage is serving us, right? Everything is a service for something. It's just finding your passion. And if you can't find your passion in your job right now because you have to pay the bills and you have responsibilities, you want to be living your passion in your life. So let me continue on my story because you're going to learn from this and we're going to play a game. So I was working at MTV. I was working at MTV at a really fun time when the average age was like 26. And I was going up the ladder pretty quick because at that age you did at MTV. You know, it was really a lot of fun. But I started hating it. I was really miserable and really depressed and really unhappy. I'll never forget my first spring break in the shower, not having any sleep, because that's the way we worked at MTV. We didn't sleep. I was like the line producer of the Clinton Forum. The famous Clinton Foreman is boxer briefs. That was my show. So this was early on in my career, and I was getting out of the shower again to go on location in Daytona for spring break. And I was exhausted and I was like, what am I doing? I don't want to do this. I don't want to work like this anymore. And this was early on in my career before I even decided to leave. And I was like, maybe I'll be a teacher. I don't know what I'll do. So through my depressive feelings, I went to a therapist. And I remember, I'll never forget sitting down with the therapist and her asking me what I wanted to be. And I was like, I want to be an actress, or I want to be a talk show host. I don't want to do what I'm doing in production. But I was so far from being an actress at that point in my life because I was dealing with shyness, believe it or not, being able to be myself without drinking a lot. So she pushed me into going to an improv class, an acting improv class. And I started taking the class and I was loving it. And then I started taking scene study. And I had no interest in becoming an actress, though. I was like, I wanted to, but I didn't think, there's no way I can be an actress. Like, I'm already in TV now. I'm making a lot of money. I'm doing really, really well on television. I'll just do this on the side. And I'll never forget sitting at dinner one night after class. And this guy sitting next to me was like, why are you even in this class? And I was like, well, maybe I'll do commercials. He's like, you're taking a serious scene study class to be in commercials? Like, he was so annoyed at me. And I was like, yeah. But that annoyance put something in me. And here I was at Fox, and I friggin' hated Fox. Nothing against Fox. It wasn't what Fox is today, but we were actually the beginning stages of it. The people were nasty and mean because I left MTV. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be an actress. That's it. I want to be an actress. And I just felt it in my heart and in my soul and in my bones and flesh and blood. And I knew it. I just knew it in my heart. And I was like, okay, I have to get a bridge job because I'm going to be an actress. And I went for a job at NBC Olympics. And that's a whole other story, but I got the job. And I knew for a year and a half I was going to be working at NBC Olympics as the senior profiles manager. And during that time, I made it my business to pursue my acting endeavors. So I did showcases, I studied, I worked on my body a lot, I did headshots, I did everything I could. I saved money. And while I was at NBC, I was able to do that. It was a really perfect job that allowed me to leave at 5 o'clock most nights, except when I was at the Olympics, and do what I needed to do. And I left NBC Olympics and they wanted to keep me because it's when they got all the contracts. And they were like, there was 4 months there that they had to like hide me somewhere so that they could have me back on the Olympics. And they were having me have interviews and I had to go to the senior VP and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to become an actress. So I walked out of NBC and I did a showcase in front of a lot of famous agents and casting directors. And I bombed. I was awful. But I sat down with a good friend and she's like, you're going to do this no matter what. And lo and behold, 4 months later, I got the lead in an off-Broadway play, which made me equity and SAG, paid my health insurance, paid my bills. For the most part, it did. And I was working as an actress and I started getting films, independent films, and things just started opening up for me. But then those little voices started coming in, people around me. You're not really good, or whatever it was, right? But it was good because it kept making me go after my soul. So while I was acting, all my psychic abilities and mediumship abilities started opening up, and it got crazy. Like a lot of you guys don't know the story about how I became a medium, and I will share that story another time because it's a very fascinating story. And I only know that because people are fascinated by it. But I started seeing people, I started hearing things. I was going through a lot of stress, and I thought it was PTSD. And so I started seeing different psychics and mediums and found out I was a medium. And then I went to a medium who told me, learn how to use your gifts. It'll move your life along, which is why I teach it. I'll repeat what he said to me. He said, learn how to use your gifts. It'll move your life along. So I started studying. And I had no interest in being a medium. I was trying to act, and I was a bookkeeper at that time, paying my bills and my bridge jobs. Yeah, I had bridge jobs. And I wasn't doing very well in LA as an actress because I was torn, So I started studying being a medium. And when you're studying being a medium, you have to give readings for practice. And I'll never forget the first day that I was practicing readings. I was getting grandparents' names. I was getting exact information just from touching someone. And it blew me away too, because I didn't know where this information was coming from. It was just pouring through me. So I started practicing more, and I started to learn, how to do it even more. And I started giving readings for free. And then people started paying me. And I was like, okay, well, this is a better bridge job than bookkeeping. So I'm going to do this for now. So I was still going on auditions. I had a commercial agent at the time. I was actually starting to finally book again. I was working with great acting coaches because they were hard to find in LA, believe it or not. The New York acting coaches to me were much better. Sorry, that's how I feel, because it's not a lot of nonsense like Hollywood. Anyway, there's my soapbox. And I started working more and more as a medium. People just started hiring me, and I was working at a bookstore, and I left that because that was not great energy, but I met great people through it. And I was working on a murder case. Sal Mineo, by the way, famous actor who died, he came to me. It's a long story, a great story that one day I'll do as a podcast or a book. And I was working on the murder case, and I was getting all this information, and I had a lead to go on set to act, and I didn't want to go. I just did not want to go. I was so intrigued by everything I was doing. So I went to the set, and I did my last acting thing. Actually, I did one thing after that. And I said, that's it, I'm done. And I contacted my commercial agents. I said, don't send me out anymore. I have no interest in doing this career anymore. And I became a full-time, I never looked back actually, became a full-time medium, teacher, spiritual teacher. And it just continues to grow. And the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because I want you to recognize that in each stage, I didn't know where I was going. I was just following what I wanted to do. So when I was working when I went into college to do television communication, it was an easier thing, a better thing, more creative for me. And then I interned at MTV and got MTV. And then I started studying acting because I wanted to come out of my shell and not be afraid to be in front of people without drinking and doing drugs. And I think I stopped doing drugs at that point, but whatever. And then I fell into acting. And then through my acting, dream work, and everything that was opening up, my abilities opened up even more. And I started studying mediumship, not thinking, I really did not want to do it. And now here I am. And I've been in a career now for over 10 years, and I've been teaching people even before I started reading. It was just something that came natural to me. And it's something I love. And I truly love more and more. And as I step away out of readings now, because I'd rather work with people reading for themselves, it grows into something totally else. So there's two things that my guides gave me that I want to give you that I felt that I feel are the most beneficial things for you to get clear. So whether you know what you want to do or you don't want to do, then this is going to help you to get even clearer and to go further with what you want to do. So, and I'm going to take your questions in this too, because I want to be able to help you out and see. So it's funny though, I caught Lori. She said, wow, I'm very impressed. I'm at NBC now. She says, I hate Fox. What's interesting too, as I got the lead and it was Tony and Tina's wedding, right? I was Tina. I was getting married every night. Here's a quick little funny story. I was praying to God before I became an actress. And I was like, God, I really want to act for a living and I want to get married. And then I got the lead in Tony and Tina's wedding and I was getting married every night. Wasn't what I meant. So got to be very clear. And I did fall in love when I was in that show and lived with somebody and then that broke up, but it was fine. So, and what was interesting is right when I got that show, or right before I got that show, actually, I won an Emmy for my work at NBC Olympics. And that's Spirit's way. You guys will notice this when, hey, look, you have an Emmy. And I remember people probably calling and offering me work for a lot of money. And I kept saying, no, 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 I'm focused on acting. And I'd be like, I got offered at that point, I was making $500 to $750 a day to work, right? So, and that's back like years ago. And those are the things, the triggers that will come in. I wasn't working, I was pursuing acting, but I stayed clear with my focus. So the two activities that, there goes the itchy nose, that I'm going to give you today, I really want you to do them because next week when I'm live at 12 noon, we're going to go further into this and I'm going to help you. It's going to be more of a Q&A. I'm going to help you unpack what it is that you want to do because something that I'm really, really, really gifted at, and I can say this with complete ownership, one of the things I'm really gifted at is being able to look at somebody, know their story, know where they came from, and create a business. It's really not me, it's them. They are so good, my guides, at when I'm doing readings and knowing their gifts and knowing what career they're supposed to create out of it. It's just amazing. I'm glad I have all those recordings because I really should go back and create a ton of businesses off of them. So the two things my guides gave me, and then I'll go to your Q&A. The first thing they gave me was a thing called a souls list. And I do have this video on my YouTube page. So if you go to my YouTube page, Marilyn Aloria, you'll find under Psychic Playlist, the Souls List video. And I ask you to watch it. So when I was in my bridge job, miserable, not getting any acting jobs, I was really super unhappy. And I have to turn off Skype. Sorry. We have so many things going on in my business right now that Laura just did something. So I was really, really unhappy, really bored. I'll never forget going for commercial auditions and they'd be like, what's your hobby? And I'd be like, I don't know. I'd like make up stuff because I was doing nothing but acting or bookkeeping. And I was completely like miserable. And I went into meditation with my guides. I was already channeling, but I wasn't working as an actress. I was working as a medium. I was channeling a good 3-4 years before I started working as a medium. And I went into meditation and they said, you have to do a souls list. And what a souls list is you write down a list of things, 20 to 25 things that feed your soul. It's stuff you do already and stuff that you want to do. So it could be things like having a cup of tea and reading a book, taking a yoga class, going for a hike, going antiquing, going to the beach and picking out shells, taking an art class, taking a cooking class. They're all things that you truly, truly enjoy doing, things that you do already and things that you want to do. Could be taking a trip from Paris. Could be so many things that you want to do. And you write that down on a sheet of paper, 20 to 25 of these things. And in my mastermind group, we're going to go even further with this because there's something else they give. But this is great for you. And they said to me, you have to do at least 3 a day. Now, I don't give that challenge to anybody else. They were very strict with me. I say at least 1 a day you have to do. And if the 1 a day is go to Paris, and you can't go to Paris that day, obviously, you don't have a private jet sitting in your backyard or the billionaire friend, then what you do is you just Google Paris, taking a trip to Paris, right? For 20 minutes or 10 minutes. It's all about feeding your heart and soul and joy. Joy is where your career is. Joy is where your soul's purpose is. There is not 1 ounce of my job. Well, there's 1 ounce of my job I don't like. So let's be honest. The part of my job that's going away is reading. So I no longer read for the general public. I don't mind reading for people that are in membership at all because I know them and I'm getting to know them, and it's to me it's great. And I don't mind reading for people that are recurring clients, but I will not read for general public anymore. I may do Q&As, but I won't do one-on-ones. So there's nothing in my business that I don't enjoy. Everything is joy, 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 joy. So I did this souls list, and 6 months later, my whole life looked like that souls list. It was amazing. It was so incredible what changed. Now, let's fast forward, okay? They still want me to do the friggin' souls list. It's on my refrigerator right there where Archangel Michael is, and I have to do a new one. I'm so bad. But a lot of my life is filled with joy. A lot of my life is hiking, yoga, tennis, you know. I do it automatically, but they want me to go a little bit out of the box now. So anyway, side note. Now, here's the next one. This is another video. We wanted to do a PDF, but we've got a lot going on. So 1 to 10 list is a video also on my YouTube page. And we're going to stay on my join Soulful Living with Your Guides or here, because now I'm going across the board live. And we're going to be doing some really fun posts to engage you this week in these areas, because I want you doing this. So the 1 to 10 list. So I started getting bored again. I was like, ugh. That kind of feel, you know, that feeling like when you just go and grab chips constantly and eat chips and watch stupid TV and you're bored out of your brain and life just seems so friggin' dull, and you get up in the morning like, that feeling was happening to me. And they said, and they were like, okay, well, you need to do a souls list. And I was like, I don't even know what makes me feel happy anymore. I'm so friggin' miserable. So they said, you need to do the 1 to 10. So here's the 1 to 10 list that I'm giving you. I'm giving you 2 pieces of homework, okay? For 3 weeks, I had to do this, but I want you guys just to do both of these for the week, just for the week. For 3 weeks, every night before I went to bed, I had to make a list of the events of my day. Went to the grocery store, kissed Micah, went for a walk, worked with a client, whatever it was that I did that day. And I had to rate it from 1 to 10. 1 being the least fun. And you can guess what 10 was, 10 being the most fun. And I had to do this for 3 weeks. I want you guys doing it just for this week. And what they wanted me to do then after the 3 weeks, okay, I'll tell you. I was going to tell you next week, is take anything from 7 to 10 and put that on a separate list. So anything below 7, they were like, we're getting rid of it. We're done with that. Anything from 7 to 10, we're putting on a list. So you may be wondering, like, what does this have to do with your soul's purpose? Well, what I had discovered by doing these exercises, both of them, the 7 to 10, the things that gave me joy were very simple. It was kissing my dog. It was doing group hugs with my 2 dogs. It was touching flowers. It was being out in nature. And because I was connecting more with joy and doing it more, solution dropped in. What is exciting to me? What is good to me? It's conscious creation. Remember what we were talking about last week? If you watched that video, it's all about creating your life from joy. So I got very clear, like after I would come out of maybe a certain, like I was reading at night at that time, you know, I was like, I don't like reading at night anymore. I am not good after 7 o'clock. I don't want to be talking to people. Except if I'm like at a bar having a margarita. Not that I go to bars, you know what I mean? Like hanging out with my tennis friends, having a drink. And nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, whatever. I don't do bars. So what it did is it got me conscious and aware. And instead of feeling trapped and stuck, which is what a lot of you do because you're in these jobs that you can't friggin' stand, I focused on joy. And by focusing on joy, creative solution came in. Creative ideas came in. Oh, I'm going to teach this class. Oh, I'm going to do this group now. Oh, I'm going to do that. I love doing this. So I'm going to do more of that. Oh, I'm going to get rid of nighttime readings. I'll never forget my assistant at the time was like, you can't do that. And I did. And it was like no problem at all. Like I stopped weekend readings. I stopped night readings. There was no problem. You get to write your story. You get to write your boundaries. So many of us are in habit. I'm not going to add me into this any longer because I'm not. So many of you are in habit where you think you have to do it. So then you see no way out. You can't possibly think of a way out. What I have learned no matter how difficult the circumstances are. If I focus on my joy and what brings me happiness, I see solution as a way out. Or what's even better, solution shows up. So if I think, oh my goodness, I have to do this thing with this annoying person because they're in my life and I have to do it. But if I focus on joy, solution comes in and removes that situation because I'm no longer focused on it. I'm no longer going, how do I get rid of it? So let me know now. Let me go to your Q&A and see where you're at. But you have 2 pieces of homework. You are going to go do the souls list and the 1 to 10 exercise. And what I'll do is make sure that those 2 YouTube videos are posted on both my Facebook pages. So we'll make sure that both those videos are posted on my Facebook pages. Next week, we're going to follow up on this. And even if you don't do it, don't be afraid to come next week and talk about it. Because next week, what we're talking about, hold on, you think I would be all prepared, but I'm not. I'm usually pretty organized these days, but lately it's just been, we're working very hard on getting the announcements out about the mastermind groups. You guys write your questions for me now, because you know there's always a delay. I can't find the content creation. Content. Can't tell you what we're talking about next week. Oh, I know what we're talking about. We are talking, I wrote Facebook. We are talking about how to take 3 things from this list and create the purpose, your soul's purpose, your job. So next week, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about what you found was your joy this week. So you have to do it, whether you write it down or not. I really would expect you to do it. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to take these 3 things, which will be more like a Q&A, and how then to create your purpose from it, okay? So I want you to come back next week so we can do that. So like I said, I'm extremely gifted in helping people know what they're meant to be doing in their lives. So go and do that this week. Okay, so let's see what the questions are. Carolee says, how do you know if you're on the right track? It's a great question. So Carolee, there's a couple of answers to this because, you know, you could be on the right track, but you're experiencing resistance or you're experiencing the wall or you're experiencing no's, right? So for me personally, whether I know I'm on the, I know I'm on the right track because I'm talking to my guides, but maybe you don't have that available to you at this moment, right? If you're still in love with it, if you still are passionate about it, if you still feel that it's your purpose, it's still meant to be done. You're still on the right track. Now, what may be happening, and this is where you have to surrender a bit, is spirit may have a better way for you to do it. So instead of when you experience the no's, you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. You have to say, is spirit teaching me so that I'm more prepared character-wise to experience the opportunities that are coming my way? So many times when I'm experiencing a no in a situation, but I'm still passionate about it, it's because I know I'm building a character, a confidence inside of myself in order to go bigger, you know, with my idea, what I'm supposed to do. Or you have to ask, is there something that I did, something I didn't listen to inside myself and went against my intuition and made a choice and talked to the wrong person and received a no? What was the intuitive guidance? And then the third question you want to ask is, am I still excited about this, or am I just doing it because I told every Tom, Dick, and Harry I was going to do it, and I'm too ashamed to say I don't want to do it anymore? You ask yourself those 3 simple questions, you're going to get clarity about whether you're on the right track or not, okay? So that's where I would start you. Good question. Cynthia says, I have to drink water for this one. See what you do to me, Cynthia? How do you sort out a vocation when you're multi-passionate? Great question. How many of us are multi-passionate? Hit the like button and the love button if you're multi-passionate right now. Hit it right now, because I know many of you are multi-passionate, because I know I am too. So here's a great thing to do. What the thing is, and this is really a big thing, Cynthia. Focus is one of the biggest things, right? So here's what happened to me. I wanted to act. I wanted to write. And then I became a medium. So in my mediumship career, I was acting. I wasn't acting anymore, though people say, yeah, you will, you know, people that don't like me. I was doing television stuff. I was being pitched for networks and everything. So I was constantly doing sizzle reels and video and being invited into doing things. I don't do a lot of guest spots on TV because I'm very picky about what I'll do. And then I was writing a lot more, right? Writing content for all of you guys and writing stories. And then I was doing my mediumship. So all my multi-passions came together as one. When I was trying to keep them separate, a friend of mine would say this to me all the time, when you were an actress, I told you to be a psychic. And she was like, you didn't want to do it. You boxed everything up. You kept everything separate. And I kept telling you, don't do that. So she was right, right? So when I let those boxes live together, they became my purpose. Even animals, right? I'm getting ready to go back into Children's Hospital with Micah. That's a huge passion for me. It's a TV show that I've been trying to pitch, about working with Micah as a medium. And it's interesting getting them to understand it. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So I work things together. So when you're multi-passionate, the thing you want to do at first, because I'm very focused now, right? And focus is a very difficult thing for spiritual entrepreneurs. So what you want to do is find like the most passionate one out of them. There's got to be one that's just a little bit easier right now, a little bit more accessible, a little bit more exciting, whatever it may be. The one that's more accessible, go with that. And follow that and really commit to it. But know in your head that somehow, like Laura, who I'm really getting to know in membership, she's got photography, but she draws this beautiful art too. And she's got this whole I'm just getting to know her. Spiritual essence that's beautiful for healing people through her artistic work. So she just said on this, I think I'm a photographer. And I'm like, nah, not just that. Hopefully Laura's still on. She can hear this. Because I know that she's going to be all those mediums. And Laura may end up, what I would suggest to Laura is to go out and do workshops with people who are going through changes in their life, pull them together, bring them into a natural setting, take them on a gorgeous hike, have them pick up natural things, good Laura, and then have them create art from their journey on the hike. Like that's something I would suggest to her. So you do a whole ritualistic experience where you're taking people on a hike, they're getting artistic, they're getting rocks, and then they're also thanking Mother Earth for what they take. And then they're building something onto their own, right? So, and she just said, you nailed it. I've been thinking about calling it New Beginnings. So you can see how gifted I am at figuring this stuff out. She hasn't told me this. So for the person, Cynthia, who just said things, pick one, sweetie, okay? And then meet me here next week. And let's really continue to work on it. And if I forget, because I will, remind me, and hopefully I'll see it in the feed and I can go back and work with you on it. Okay, great. Let's get some more. Mark, I've noticed you've asked this. I'm going to pull this up. I was told I was a healer in previous incarnations and developed my own modality, and that I will do that for many people during this incarnation. I'd like to do this, but not doing it yet. Do my guides confirm this? Mark, here's an issue I have, because I saw that you had this on another, and I didn't get to answer it, so that's why I'm glad you asked it again. So I don't disagree with this at all. What bothers me sometimes when I hide this question is sometimes people go out for readings and they hear, and I've heard this from people, they hear this tremendous, amazing gift, right? And then the reading's over and they're like, bye. And then you don't know what you're supposed to do with it or how to do it. I don't know that this happened to you, Mark, so I'm using you as a teaching tool for something else, for a point I'm making. Whenever you get like a profound message like that, you want to be an investigator in your own life and continue to work with it. As a reader, what I do, and I know a lot of the readers I go to do this too. I don't go to readings anymore, but the people that I pull into my membership, like Sue Kovacs, Anna Maria Vasquez, people that I pull in, Megan Lane, they do this with their people. They give you tools and techniques to carry out, to start on that journey. So for you, Mark, I wouldn't disagree with this at all. I know you a little bit. I would not disagree with this. I feel like it's beautiful. The thing that you want to do is, if it's too hard to create what that modality is, you want to study things that excite you. Now, you don't have to go take a Reiki class, but you could buy books of different healing modalities. Now, healing modalities can happen in speaking. They can happen in hands-on healing. They can happen in vision. They can happen with a heart chakra, whatever it may be. But what I would suggest to you is to pick like 5 modalities that excite you and interest you. And I would write down the thing from each modality and that you really like. Because obviously there's going to be many, right? But many things in one modality. Theta healing has different things. Reiki has different things. But write one thing in each. And don't negate throat healing, communication. And then just start sitting with those 5 things going, if I was to create something from these 5 things, you're not stealing anything. Like, that's why I never go out and say, people ask permission and membership to use my material. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And I like that. But, and I just found out a couple of teachers are out there teaching my stuff and acknowledging me. I know some people aren't, but I know they are acknowledging me, which is so sweet. But you're not stealing anything. These are universal, infinite consciousness. And Mark's going to take something that I taught him and make it his own and twirl it around and make it beautiful. Then it's great. It's helping more people. Domino effect. So Mark, stop sticking on the question because you already know the answer. Now I'm going to kick your butt. You already know that when you heard this, it made your heart sing. You were thrilled by it. Stop waiting for other people to confirm it. It's okay. I get it. Move on it. Okay. The reason why I go, okay, I get it, is because I have to bring myself back to the times when I was seeking so much confirmation from other people. It's normal, right? We all do it. But what I really want to teach you guys is to confirm for yourself. Really do. So Mark, you already know that this is a truth that spoke to your heart. Run with it. Okay. I'm going to take a couple more and then I have to go because I have readings. Jasmine. I would like to help people and help them live a more fulfilled life and help them heal. Where should I start? I also got multiple ideas on creating different things too. Well, Jasmine, we've talked before and you have a nutrition aspect that you're very interested in as well. So with you, like what I would say to Mark is I want you to write down what anybody who's struggling with this question. Ooh, my root chakra just went whoosh. So did my first chakra, second chakra. Wow, that was interesting. That's good, Jasmine. It means creativity with beliefs, trusting that you can make money through doing this. So you're struggling with that problem. So anybody who's struggling with what Jasmine just said, what I suggest is do what like Mark. So what I want you, not what I said to Mark, I'm going to tell you a story right now. Go into your life and write down the pivotal moments where you were going through life-changing experiences. And write down a tool from each pivotal moment that accelerated your healing and learning and expansion. So for me, one of the first pivotal moments was obviously going into therapy. And I learned from, she was like the second therapist I went to, but she was the main one. I learned how to draw art and how art and drawing my dreams and how art was my intuition. Colors got me into my intuition. So that would be one of my biggest tools. And I teach that to you guys about getting to know colors and intuition and knowing what the yes and the no is. So that would be one of them. So write down each one and sit with that, Jasmine, and say, wow, these are the things that really spoke to my heart and accelerated me. How would I feel teaching other people these things through my story? What do I feel I'm most passionate about? But with you, again, I feel like, and I'm getting to know you really well, is there's a nutrition aspect with it, living healthy. You're very conscious. You're conscious about raising kids in a family, in a dynamic that you weren't necessarily raised in, giving them credibility, you know, as you're giving it to yourself. So write down your passions too, guys. Whether you like, I say this to whether you think you can do them or not. My passions right now, and I'm not doing them, is working with teenage mothers. Animals, for sure, which I'm definitely doing stuff with animals just by having rescued animals and helping people that are trying to train animals when I see them. And I'm not sure, my third passion is you guys. So that I'm definitely living. So, you know, teaching people how to live from their heart and to believe in themselves more than anything else in the world through connection. That's my passion. So know what your passions are. Write it down on paper. Don't try to make sense of it at this point in stage. Allow yourself to be in process with it, and it'll help you to be creative, and we can work more on this. Okay, so let me take one more, and I want to take someone who's not. I'm going to take this question, Ian. I love the honesty in this question. How do I not only discover my purpose by doing these exercises, but what are some ways I can become very, very financially successful as becoming a millionaire or a multi-billionaire? I love that question because that's honest. There's nothing wrong with it. White butterfly, did you see it? White butterfly. What does that mean? It means spirit's with us. So Ian, my experience of making money is doing what I love, and money follows. So one of the things that is tricky as a spiritual teacher, and something that I always have to be cautious of, is, of course, I want to make money and continue to make money so that I can do more with my money, be more accessible, be able to write books, reach more people. There's so many more things that I want to do. Have my own charity with teenage mothers and kids and put them through school and stuff like that. So there's so much you want to do, but all of my work leads to the passion of making money. So Marianne Williamson, I believe, said it, do what you love and the money will follow. And I do believe that. I know some people negate that, but I really do believe that. So my thing for you would be that they come together. Now, making billions or multi-billions or multi-millions in other ways, for me, you can do passive income things, you can do Amazon things. There's things out there where you can start making money, but if you're not passionate about it, I find that you hit walls and it gets really, really difficult. So you have to be passionate about it at the same time. So that's my experience of it. So if you can, it's also about, thank you, Spirit. It's also about thinking bigger and not being in scarcity consciousness. There's a lot of healers and spiritual people that are trying to do this work, but they think that you can't be rich doing it. You're not allowed. So you have to look at your own scarcity consciousness around this, if there is any. And you also have to allow yourself to dream bigger. Allow yourself to dream about having more money so that you can do the things that you want to do. And always, like the last teacher, one of the teachers I study with, Stu McLaren, he does membership sites and stuff. He's really good. And he talked about how he struggled with making money. So when he was like making $1 million, he felt really uncomfortable with it or whatever. And then when he realized he has a charity, that if he gives 90% or 80% of his money away, and he knows what he has to say, he has to live on 2 million, and he makes 10 million. Wow. And 8 million of that goes to his charity. It was a different driving force for him. So you have to look at how you're holding it. That's the most important thing. So I'm gonna try to grab one more, but I'm gonna have to go fast with it. Let me just see where they take me. I'm going to just go with the last one that showed up, Rochelle. I know that I'm passionate about art, self-development, and healing. How can I market my work to show that it's more in depth than just a pretty picture? Rochelle, what I feel like, first of all, pick one medium. This is for anybody out there who's a spiritual entrepreneur. When you get overwhelmed by Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, social, Facebook, pick one or two. Since you do art, I would say probably Instagram or Pinterest. And I think Pinterest has a better way, because what I want you to do with your artwork is tell stories. How did it come to you? What was your experience of it? Start putting your own personality into it. Oh, I made this art piece when I was like walking in the store and I was having a really difficult time with my boyfriend and I was just really upset, and I went home and I just drew this thing and it made me feel peaceful. Share your experience, because your healing work is in that piece of art, or share it as a fictional story. Because what will happen with that, thank you, what will happen with that is people will say, oh, that story, it touches me. I want that piece of art. I know her. I feel her. That's great. So one of the things Spirit just said to me, and they're reminding me of someone that I know briefly, she started sharing her fictional stories in Facebook. It got tons and tons of followers. She would just share them as posts, and they were a fictional story. And then she did those Kickstarter campaign things or whatever to write the book. So you want to do something of that nature. It'd be really good. But I feel like put yourself in your art. Pick one or two mediums at the most. I've worked with mainly Facebook and YouTube. I don't really focus on the other mediums right now. And then tell your story. So that's it, guys. Remember to join me next week. Remember to do your homework. First, let me write this down. The souls list and the 1 to 10 exercise YouTube videos. So there goes the notes. Do that homework and make sure to meet me here next week at 12 noon to discuss 3 of those things. And that's going to be more of a Q&A with you guys, where I'm going to ask you what you're passionate about, those 3 things, or the 3 things that you found that you liked, or Rochelle said, thank you so much. I love that idea of telling stories. I just joined a Toastmaster club to learn about storytelling. Great. Yeah, there's an art to storytelling, and it's great if you can learn that. Yeah, Marie, I'll see you in a few hours. I'm going live in membership later. Somebody asked something real quick. I want to grab this one. and I gotta go. So Bente said, I know I'm a healer, but I struggle with finding real passion at the moment. I'm about to sell everything I own and go live in Bali for 6 months with my son. So Bente, struggling with real passion, I just want to get this question for everybody. Struggling with real passion is because maybe there's a lack of belief that you can do it. So sometimes, I don't know that this is I'm going to agree with that. You may be struggling with, can I really make this happen? Can I make this work? You may be struggling with past story. It didn't work before. Why will it work now? If you're still on Bente, I'd like to have confirmation or not confirmation about this. But that's what I feel like may be happening for you. So I'm okay with you selling everything if you want to and going to Bali, but have a plan. Oh, I got a pain. I got a pain in my neck and my shoulder with that. So I want you to make sure that you have a plan, that you know what you're going to do in Bali, that you know what you're going to do for money, that you know what you're going to do for after the 6 months. Now, of course, you've got to allow experience to happen, right? When I was in NBC in that year and a half, I was saving money. I knew the contract was going to end and I would get unemployment because that's what would happen, right? So, and I did look for work, you know, I was looking and I got a job right away as an actress. So it all worked out. But you want to be open to what happens, but you also want to plan. I get scared when people are like, I'm going to just do this. And then they don't have a plan. And then they're running back looking for work or finding themselves in difficult situations. So that's what I'm going to say. She said that I was totally right. It's true. So get a way to get out of the story is to start telling the new story. So start telling the new story. This morning I did that. I did my day in the life, which a lot of people know that I can't teach that right now. But I wrote down an experience in the future and I get in touch with that. So tell a new story. Okay, I gotta go. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Share this video if you feel it's helpful, guys. It would really, really share this video. It'd really be great if you could. Looking to build my audience. Nothing wrong with that, right? And share this video if you like it. I know sometimes a lot of you are in the closets and you don't want to know that anybody, that you're like talking to a medium. I get that. But if you really feel it's helpful for somebody, go and share it. Lori, no, you're not in membership, but get on the wait list. If anybody's interested in membership, get on the wait list. The doors aren't open right now, but I suggest you get in the wait list. So great. Thanks, Marie, for sharing. So thank you, guys. I'll see you next week, and we are going to go over the 3 things, and I'm going to really help some of you. I won't be able to do it, everybody, but you can learn through other people's experience. I'm going to help you find your soul's purpose. Much love to all of you.